What is up, YouTube family? Chris here. If you don't know who I am, welcome to the Ride and Dad channel. If you know who I am, thank you for coming back. I do appreciate it. So today I am doing the second video in part of the Lowrider S build series. This is going to be really easy. I'm just replacing the grips. The grips I have today are Arlen Ness. This will be the third set of grips I've done. Second on a Harley, third on a bike in general. And these grips were only about 50 bucks. I think they're $49.95 or 96, something like that. I posted a link to get them on Get Lowered Cycles. They do have free shipping. I don't work with Get Lowered. You can, as of this video, you can tell I don't work with anybody given my subscriber number count. But Get Lowered has really good price. They always have really everything in stock, and they have free shipping, and the shipping is actually really fast. I got these very fast, especially for free shipping. So yeah, only like 50 bucks. The Harley ones, I believe the last time I bought them were like 109, maybe 125 or something insane like that. So time will tell how these hold up, but I think they're gonna hold up pretty good. I know a couple people that I've seen on YouTube get these and have had really good luck with them. So what you're gonna need if you're doing it on a Harley is a Torx 25, a Torx 27, some sort of ratcheting wrench system or something like this, and then at least something kind of long and slender to work in between the mirrors, unless you really want to take the whole mirror assembly off, or at least unscrew it to turn it, which is kind of a pain in the ass. You'll also need towels. Some sort of masking tape helps, a marker helps, you'll see all this, and you need some cutting, like a box cutter, any of like the blades like that, like the brake. I don't know if the breakaway, they might be too fragile for this. And then you'll need a grip glue if your grip set did not come with one. Most come with one. I believe the Harley ones were the only ones that did not come with them. I could be mistaken, but I know I did buy one from the Harley store. I don't think they came with them, which I love Harley. Obviously, I ride a Harley, but they do nickel and dime you sometimes. So let's get to the install. It's a 2020 Lowrider S, and before we go over to the bike, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can wait to like the video if you don't think you're gonna like it, but I think you're gonna like it. More build series are to come very soon. This will be the second one, and my channel will have a playlist for all my build series videos on the Lowrider S. And this is super, super easy. Anybody could do this, with the exception of waiting for the glue to dry and make sure everything sets up real nice with it. Maybe 30-40 minutes tops, and that's if like you're a beginner, making sure everything is all set up correctly. But I have a little bit of little tips that I have used in the past to make that process go smoother and set it up exactly how you liked it. So without further ado, let's go over to the bike. I'll show you how to put the Arlen Ness grips on, or really any grips, and how to get rid of these puppies. All right, so you're gonna wanna take a Torx 25, and that's gonna be the 2 bolts. This one's on the bottom, and then there's one on the top that you'll see me unscrew for the housing for the switches and the electrical components. You'll see that the masking tape is on the exterior of the perch, on both the right and left side. What I like to do is take like a painter's tape or a masking tape and put it, it shows where the grips, or where the metal housings and the perch actually ended, so you know you're at the same amount, just in case a grip doesn't see it all the way and there's no other way to kind of tell besides just where it originally started. And I also like to take a marker and mark where the 2 pieces around the perch housing actually line up. There's like a little crease in the middle, and I put a little marker there. That way I know the angle of my my controls. That makes it just a little bit easier for takedown and reassembly. That way you don't have to fiddle around with the angle again when you take everything off. So that is the perch that I just unscrewed a little bit with the Torx 27. And then you're going to see on the throttle side, on the electronic throttle models, which is exactly what I'm pointing at right now, there's a little, basically just the grip has to fit in those notches. So what you're going to want to do on the new grip is make sure that if it has any writing, which you'll see in a second, just try to position that writing either straight up and down or however else you would like to want it. So there you go. And there's like a little notch on the end of the right side, the throttle grip, that's going to fit inside of that little recess inside of the switch housing, which you'll see, just kind of pop it in there, making sure that it's operating the electronic throttle correctly. If you have a older model or like a metric or a different kind of standard or American model bike that does the wires, I'm sorry, this video is not going to help you that much. It's the same kind of concept. You just have two wires. Basically, one is to pull and then one is to open the throttle body, and it's just kind of like a spring and return kind of setup. So it's pretty easy. Maybe I'll have a bike sometime where I'll do a video on that. If not, there's tons of videos on that for YouTube, and by all means go ahead and check one of those. So once you have the grip on the right side, I almost said the driver's side. Once you have the grip on the right side placed in that recess of the switch housing, put that top switch back on, make sure that fits all right, and just kind of hand tighten stuff down, because what you're going to need to do in a second is you're going to need to check that spacing is correct. So you have just the right amount of play in that grip, and you'll see me kind of fiddle around with it. So this is the time you want to make sure and do per the owner's manual. I am by no means, a Harley tech. I'm not going to tell you 100%. I know exactly what it says in your owner's manual. I'm sure different models are different anyway. But essentially what you're going to want to do is make sure there is just a little bit of wiggle room, both in and out. Left and up and down. Up and down is going to be the throttle itself. You're really not going to have any control over that from this point of it, but you're going to have control. You don't want it to seat too tight, because if it seats too tight, long story short, you're going to wind up harming your electronic throttle, and it's going to wind up kind of sticking. You're not going to get that smooth, buttery response that you've come to know and love from your Harley. So there I am, kind of just realigning it, making sure the angle is correct. You can't really see it, but my line on the masking tape is underneath where the perch, the two pieces of the perch line up. So now you're going to want to, I just tighten it a little bit more. I tighten it kind of incrementally, and you should be using a torque wrench for this. Definitely do not use Loctite. Everybody recommends that you do not use Loctite for these, because these bolts are relatively small and they do strip out easily if you put too much pressure on them. They do have little kind of lock washers. The two bigger ones, the Torx 27s on the perch, those do have lock washers that come from the factory there. So once you get that all tightened up, you want to just make sure it stays in the same position, your throttle still works fine, and then you are good to go. Just hand tighten that, or tool tighten that to whatever your torque specifications are supposed to be per your manual for your bike. So now we're on the left side. Pretty much the exact same thing. You see I have the masking tape again, not only to line up how far in and out relative to the end of the bar the grip and the perch and the switch housing is, but also I have a little mark on there that you can't see from the camera angle right now that is going to tell me the angle of my grip, so the feeling on the hand is the same. So like I said, the perch housing, or the perch rather, is going to be the Torx 27, and then these two these two bolts on the switch housing is going to be a Torx 25. And I would say do invest in some quality Torx bolts, because I've actually had a Torx snap on me, believe it or not. So all right, you're going to take that top off, set it aside so you don't ruin your nice black finish. Slide that out a little bit. What I did forget to mention on the other side is there are little notches that you're not going to see in this video because of the camera angle, but there are little notches that's going to have your perch marry nicely to your switch housing. You'll see it on your own bike when you do it. You pretty much can't go wrong with it. Just make sure you don't screw up any of the electronic switches or sensors for the clutch, and then also for your brake. There are two little kind of nubby sensors on your left and right respectively for those. So the stock rubber, and this goes for any rubber you have. If you have like a real hard plastic one, you can try to cut it, but you're probably gonna have to wedge like a screwdriver or some other sort of material in there. But these rubber ones, you're just gonna wanna cut with some sort of knife, utility knife or box cutter or any kind of like thing like that. And they're glued on, so you're going to want to take them off. I'll take this time to kind of mention on the Harley brands, and including the stock Harley. I know I helped my buddy with one of these stock Harley, or not stock Harley, but an aftermarket Harley grip on a new model Harley. Wow. They say you don't need glue in the instructions, I believe, or at least they don't come with them, and they have like a little notch that seats into that switch housing, and according to them, all you have to do is tighten down that switch housing and the snugness of the rubber to the bar fits correctly, and that's good. That's up to you if you want to trust that. I don't. I would always prefer to have the glue specifically made for motorcycle grips on the handlebars. It's just a little peace of mind for me. So you're going to cut all this off, and then once you are done getting the grip off, which if it was done good, it should be kind of a pain in the butt, you're just going to want to get all that exterior crap, all that glue and rubber that's been stuck on there. So you can see I am trimming it off with the box cutter, and in a little bit I'm going to sand that too. You need to have this bar getting as smooth as humanly possible, but you don't want to polish it. You don't want to like a mirror shine. You just want all the crud off of that, so your new grip can not only seat correctly and you don't have any kind of bumps in it or anything like that, but also so the glue could bond those two surfaces together as good as possible. So on this video I start with a 220 grit. You can kind of do whatever you got, but I started with a 220 grit to get all the really big particles off, and it worked very well. 220 I'd say was a very good starting grit for this, and then I go up to a 400 just to kind of get all those deep scratches out from the 220. And then I wind up finishing it off with a Scotch guard just to kind of really polish it up, metaphorically, not a mirror shine, but just to kind of touch up any kind of, little imperfections I did. Probably not needed, but I had it lying around, so I figured why not. You're also going to want to make sure you get that end of it really good. Some debris kind of starts to fall, and if you got a vacuum, if you got anything in there, just make sure you get all the little crap particles out from the end of the inside of the bar. Then I take a little bit of alcohol and a rag and I just wipe everything off, make sure that surface is nice and clean. You're going to want to test fit your grip prior to putting the glue on it. You're going to make sure that it seats correctly, and just a little kind of nice little tricky thing I do is put a little piece of masking tape there just to make sure when I'm seating that on with the grip, or seating the grip on with the glue, make sure that that seats as far as it should be. So now that you take it off, follow the instructions on whatever glue, either the one that came with your grip to pierce it or cut it, or if you buy it in a store, whatever, but don't use super glue. Use their specific glues made for grips. Harley stores have it, pretty much every motorcycle shop, whether they sell grips or not, there usually will have it in my experience, at least where we live. You're going to want to coat that interior nice. Do not put it on the bar. If you put it on the bar, it gets messy and then it goes everywhere. Coat the interior of the grip very nice. I use this hole because it was a single serve that came with the grips. Otherwise, just kind of gauge it. Just get a very nice even coat. Turn it the whole time. What's important is to make sure that the logo on your left grip lines up with the logo on your right. So once you make sure that that's lined up, push it all the way. You'll see that it meets that masking tape where I put it, which is a very handy tool to have. You don't have to kind of guess it and double check it. Just squeeze it on, make sure it's all seated there, and then you're gonna want to get everything out of the way. I taped it up for easy access. Cleaned up any surfaces that had a little bit of glue seep out of the end, and put a towel over the bike, as you can see. That way, just in case if anything is dripping down, in case a breeze catches it or my angle is just off in my eye, I made sure that that's not going to be on the bike. After you wait however long your glue says to dry, I waited about 8 or 9 hours for me. That's why you see a little costume change. You're going to want to untape everything, obviously, and just put it back. And like I said, there are 2 little notches that help you line up the switch housing and the perch, in this case the clutch perch, that line those up, so you really can't mess up the angles on those 2. So once you get those lined up pretty good, you're going to want to hand tighten everything after you put the top of the switch housing back, and just make sure everything lines up good with that new grip. And it's important, I would say it's important not to put too much pressure on their grip. I know a lot of them say they're like fully cured in 30 minutes or 6 hours or something like that sometimes. Excuse me. but I wouldn't chance it. You keep in mind, this is in this kind of grip where there's no like hard plastic exterior like some of the other ones, or like the stock Harley, where they don't necessarily need you to glue it on according to them. That glue is the only thing you have holding that grip on. Now you can always hold the bar, yeah, but I would just be more cautious. Buy once, cry once kind of thing. Just make sure you do a good job. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right, you know. So go ahead and tighten the Torx 27 bolts on the clutch perch, and then the Torx 25 on the switch housing, both the top and the bottom part. And then this is the part where you're going to want to line that up to the masking tape. As you can see, my masking tape on this side has seen better days, but you're going to want to line it up and just make sure that it's seated at a distance from the grip that you like. If your grip, like say if you're replacing it with a Harley brand on your Harley, and your grip has those little notches in it that have to seat inside of that housing, then by all means go ahead and obviously use that, and then that'll be kind of a self-explanatory distance for you. But once you're done with that, just tighten it up like the other one, just kind of incrementally. Thank you for watching the whole video. I do appreciate it. Again, my name is Chris. This is the Riding Dad channel. Obviously, please like and subscribe. Go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think of the grips. I'll let you know if I have any issues with them. But super cheap, very easy install. I really dig the way they look. And they also have a bunch of parts that go with this Knurled Fusion collection from Arlen Ness. So if you're worried about keeping like a real cohesion style of parts on your bike, if you want to do like a full kind of build like that, this is definitely an easy part to go with. And the grips, as well as the other parts, the ends where mine are black, they come in I believe red, blue, like a 24 karat gold, like the shiny gold, stainless, like just raw material, and then brass. I do believe those are all the colors. I might be forgetting one, but they do come in quite a bit of colors. So until next time, guys, ride safe, have fun. Dad out.